Hey family, it's your girl Wisdom, and we are back with another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one because we are back at it again with another banger episode, okay? I am going to enjoy giving tips and tricks and advice for this particular episode because I feel like a lot of my supporters and a lot of people I've been talking to need that ounce of inspiration. They need that they need to feel like somebody else is on their side when it comes to how they feel in their creativity right now. And so I am super duper excited to come back with this episode in particular, and I hope it speaks volume to you and it can give you some inspiration. On this episode, we are discussing what to do when you have lost your passion for your art. So one of my supporters reached out to me and they asked, do you have any advice for any artists who have lost their passion for what they do? And so I wanted them to specifically go into it, exactly like what they meant when they were asking this question. And so what they meant was, what do you do when you've lost your drive for creating? Like you once used to create all the time, and then now all of a sudden, like, you don't feel inspired, you don't feel that spark, you don't feel that drive to want to create. Like, what do you do in order to get back there? And what do you do in that space? To jump right into this question, it's kind of a question within a question where you should just be asking yourself, why did you start in the first place when it comes to creating? Where did that passion stem from? Where did that drive, that inspiration, where did all of that come from? A few things to ask yourself with this is, did it come from a place where I was seeking money? Like, was it for monetary gain only? And this is the reason why I started when it came to my art. Was it to get myself out of like financial debt? Was it to bring more income in? And it's okay if it was strictly for money too. Like, that's totally okay, just to get you started. And you have to be honest with yourself about this. Did my drive come from, was I in a low vibrational state? Was I depressed and I wanted to just push myself out of that depressive state, and I just went off and create? Did it come from a place of, I didn't have anything else to do, so I just started painting? Like, sometimes it's like that, and I just decided, okay, well, we're just going to create this. And then, another one is, did it start from a place where I hopped on a trend? And now that trend has faded out, like, do I now have an identity crisis on my hands as an artist? Like, I don't know who I am as an artist. I don't know what it is that I actually want to create unless it's trending. And that's okay too. None of these in any type of way are bad. One is better than the other. It's just for you guys to get yourselves thinking about, okay, what was my motivation to start in the first place? And if you don't know your why, like why and what is my reason for creating, if you don't know what that is, we can't go no deeper. If you don't know your why for why you create, hey, you just gotta figure it out. Even if it's because I love to do it, right? Because then your simple answer would be, okay, I love to do this. Why did I stop doing what I love to do? And that's like a whole journal entry and self-talk and shadow work that you have to do with yourself, because you're like, okay, I fell out of love with something. Why? Even though this is something that I love, why did I do that? Did something happen? Did I go through a death in the family? Did I go through depression? Did I go through losing a friend, in a relationship? Or did I go through switching from high school to college, or college to really being thrown out into adulthood? You know what I mean? Like, you got to figure out what it is. And I would definitely do some digging on that. If you guys want me to go more in detail on specific questions, feel free to comment down below too. And I could just make like a little video that's specific to, that's specific to your situation and what you're experiencing right now. But I do feel the best way for you to start off first is to ask yourself your why. Why did I start painting? Or why did I start making music? Why did I start dancing to begin with? And where did that drive, that inspiration, and that passion come from? And where did I lose it at? Where did I lose it at? Sometimes our past selves have the opportunity to help us in our present self. That way our present self can help us for our future selves, okay? So that way we can be better, so that way we can all work together, and that way we can be our most authentic selves. So that would be my first steps to do, okay? So the second phase of this, after you've asked yourself, where did this excitement come from? And, when did it start, right? What was that driving force from me being passionate within my art? The second phase of it is asking yourself, has it changed? Has your drive and that excitement for the thing that you do change? And sometimes it may be what you are creating that has changed. So I'm gonna use this as an example. Let's say you start with painting with acrylics, right? And you had so much fun painting with acrylics, and you were doing it for so long, and you had so much success with it, and then all of a sudden, you fell out of love with it, right? Maybe that may be a time for you to go back to something else, right? To go back to, okay, instead of painting with acrylics today, I'm gonna work with watercolor, right? And maybe the thing that's also stopping you is, well, I've never worked with watercolor before. And it's just well, you never know until you try, right? Or if you're a dancer or a musician, maybe you played the piano your entire life, and then you know how to read music, but you don't know how to play the drums. And it's well, you can do one thing, so why not just go try the other, Sometimes it can be that where you just need to change the medium or the style of art that you're doing. That way it gives you another spark back into your work. And then other times it may be that you need a shift in perspective. So let's say we talked about if it was for a monetary gain, if your original drive for your art was for monetary reasons, right? To get that extra income coming in, or to make it more of your full-time income, right? Maybe you produce so much to the point where, now you don't need to do that. Now you've gotten so stable, right? In the thing that you were running after at one point to get you to a specific goal, monetarily wise. And now that you've completed that, now you need to figure out a new motivation, a new drive for, getting back into your art, right? You need to find a new respect for your art form. And if the art form you've decided that you decided that you wanted to create off of, which is, and what I mean by that is the specific medium that you've chosen, do you still even want to do that? Do you want to expand yourself within your artistry? Most of the time when you lose your drive for something, it has to do with, number one, it started from a place of maybe out of fear, right? And now it's shifted. And then, or maybe it started from a place of, I'm following this trend, but this is not something that I can really tie to morally, and I can actually operate in my authentic self, right? Other times it just may be I'm going through stuff in my day-to-day life, and I don't know how to find my way back into that space where I was just on autopilot. And this one is for my workaholics. You know who I'm talking to. I'm looking right at you. Okay, for my workaholics. Remember the last episode when I was sit the fuck down? Yeah, you might be burnt out. You might be burnt out. And that's okay. But you gotta be honest. You know how I went from that high-pitched voice? You might be burnt out. And you need to be honest about that. If you are burnt out from doing your passion and creating your art, and I can understand, because sometimes I do this where I am on create mode, and I am enjoying what it is that I'm doing because it does not feel like work. It does not feel like I'm stressed. It does not feel like I'm having to muster up energy. But then I get to that point where I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Look at everything that I've done within like the past few weeks. Maybe I should go like take a break. Maybe I should go simmer down in a corner somewhere. Maybe I should catch up on like a show that I haven't watched in a few weeks or something like that, you know? Or maybe I should go outside if you're not going outside to go connect with nature, okay? For those of y'all that are not doing that. But you may just be experiencing burnout, especially if you're somebody that does art shows, especially if you're somebody that's always on a go, maybe always doing commissions, or you find yourself always in a creative flow. I would definitely say for people like that, take the time to sit back and really sit with your art, okay? And appreciate your art and find a new respect and value for your art and what it is that you're creating. I find the best way to do this is actually, yes, sitting with your art, right? But then also going back through old videos. So if you don't make process videos, or even if you journal, whatever it is that you create, it's really nice to sit and go back and look through all of the progress you made on the pieces that you've done with like in the last week or the last month. It just depends. That way you can appreciate the moments that you do connect with your art, and you can respect the time when it's okay for you to pull away from your art. Once you have found that new appreciation for your work, you can allow yourself the time and the space to be like, okay, this is a part of my process in order for me to feel that spark again, to go back into whatever it is that I'm working on, right? If you don't take that time to respect time away from your art, then that burnt out process is going to feel like a dread, and then you're going to dread creating. So I would really say use the time off from your artwork whenever you feel called to do that. Really be in the moment when it comes to that, and really respect that space. That way you don't feel resentful to yourself, and you won't feel resentful to your artistry. Another great example that I would use is, have you been creating from the likeness of others? So for my people that are the trendsetters, okay, my people that like to create things that they know probably can make them the most money, or they like to create things just because they want to hop on the wave of what everybody else is doing, and it's fun, right? Sometimes riding the trend for a little bit is fun until you're doing it so much that it becomes your identity. Sometimes as artists, that's where we mess up. We start creating things that people or the world validates, and that says, yes, keep creating that because it'll make you the most money, and that is the wave that everybody is on. And if you're not creating it, then we're gonna push you to the side. Sometimes when you do that, it takes away from who you are and your authenticity as an artist. And then you find yourself losing yourself in other people's validation within the art world, or the conformity of it's supposed to look like this and it only looks like this. And if you do something outside of this, then it's wrong, right? So I would definitely say for people who initially started and maybe you got, praise, and maybe you got accolades for the likeness of others, but then after a while, it just was like, okay, this is just redundant. Now you got to figure out what is your validation for your art. How can you appreciate the art that you actually want to create? And are you creating it? If you haven't created art for you, I have to let that one breathe for a little bit. If you are not creating art for you, then that's where you fall into that hole where you're kind of just like, I have no passion for my art anymore. Because you're not creating it for you. You're creating it for the likeness of other people. And that's not fair. That's not fair to you. And it's not fair to you as an artist. And it's not fair for the people that want to see whatever ideas that you have come to life and you're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like doing yourself a disservice. You're self-sabotaging at that point. And I really say to anybody who is in a space right now where you have lost your passion and your drive for art in general, and you are trying to get yourself back to that, whether this is through music, whether this is through dance, and you know your ideas are unorthodox and you know that they're outside of the box, go create. Do it right now. You can do it right now while this video is still going. Go create right now. And create the unorthodox idea, and then when you're ready and you feel confident about it, go post it. And just see how much other people gravitate to something because you created it for you and it feels right to you, and now you have other people that are attracted to the thing that you enjoy. Just go do it. Go do it and go have fun, okay? Go have fun. Most people now are creating out of commission. They're creating out of validation on the internet, right? They're for numbers, right? Algorithms. They're creating it because it just looks cool. And there are times and spaces where you do that. But if art is something for you that you know fills a void in your body, not only physically, but on like a soul and spiritual level, then you need to make sure that there is joy from what you are creating, that there is a level of spunkiness. And if this may be coming from, if you're not feeling as spunky and joyful because this is coming from, you know, something that you're going through personally, it's okay to take a step back. So moving into our third phase of this, if you are in that space where you have no drive, where you have no spark right now to create your art, it's okay. It's okay to be honest about not feeling inspired to create right now. There's a reason for that. Maybe you're supposed to be going through something in your personal life to the point where when you finish going through it, or just as you're going through it, you come back to your art, and then your art is inspired by what you went through because you actually took the time to go through whatever it is that you need to. Maybe it's that time for you just to be still, to be in stillness and just to observe, right? Instead of absorbing so much, whether this is in a digital space, a physical space, things that's going out in the world, you know, negative things that's going out in the world, over consuming, you know, sometimes. Maybe you just need to be still and take a sit down and just chill out for a little bit, okay? Instead of trying to do so much all the time. And it's okay to just be in that space and just to respect the space. If you are in that space, I would say another thing for you to do, other than respecting it and be still, another thing would be do your research. Go research something else. Go get inspired by something else. So let's say you're a painter, right? Go into the world of dance for a little bit. If dance excites you, or if dance has some curiosity for you, not saying you gotta dance, I'm just saying go into the world of dancers and see how they create, right? Or if you're a dancer, go into the world of an engineer, right? And what I mean by engineer, I just say like a producer, people in the music industry. Go see how they create. You know, go watch a documentary on maybe like a famous artist in another medium and go see how they create. You know, find people that, you know, get you excited about the work that you create. And for some of y'all, that's me, and I feel so honored. You know, go gravitate to those people and watch those people that make you feel inspired just about art in general, just about creation, right? As opposed to feeling like you have to put something on the paper, that you have to do X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it does not call for that, okay? Another thing about that too is like, you need to rearrange your routine. You need to rearrange your schedule. Not necessarily revolving around your art, but rearranging your schedule or your lifestyle where you can find more enjoyment through your life, you know, because sometimes it may be starting with, I don't feel enjoyment and I don't have a spark in my life, which is why I don't feel like I have a spark within my art. Maybe you need to go find that in your personal life first before you can even come back to painting something on a canvas or making a new song or coming up with a new dance routine, you know, just using these as examples because I know I have all different kind of artists everywhere. And most of the time when you do that and you respect whatever space you're in and you're being honest with yourself, you know, you're being straightforward with yourself, usually those ideas just come out of nowhere. You just gotta let them come. You know, sometimes they may come in a shower. Sometimes it may come when you're outside walking. Sometimes it may come as you're talking with somebody else and you're just talking about art in general. But yeah, they come at different phases of your life, and just know that it will come, and just be patient for whatever phase you are in right now. Just be patient. So that is all of my juice and advice for what to do when you no longer feel that drive for your passion. I hope this helped anybody, and if you know anybody who needs to hear this, be sure to send it to them, okay? I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure y'all leave a like, make sure you subscribe, and I will see y'all on another episode. Bye!